How do you gauge people when you've come from a narcissistic abusive relationship? It's very hard. And I remember being so worried about so many things. I was worried that if I spoke my truth and I let someone know about what I've been through, that gave them a green pass of some sort, and that meant that they were going to do the same to me. I was basically giving them the ammo. I remember thinking, what if they don't believe me? It's going to knock me down. It's going to make me feel like less of a person. You're broken coming out of something like this. You're confused. You're looking back on events, conversations, and memories with a narcissist and trying to see, how did I miss that? What could I have seen? And you might find things here and there, which I think is normal. But that fear of, how do I make sure I never do this again, is very hard. And I remember just being so scared that people were so evil, and thinking, well, everybody's lying. Everybody's making it seem like they got a good life. And then there were times where I would see people who seemed happy, and I would be like, just bullshit. It's such bullshit. Because I was coming from a place of anger, and I was still hurt. Now I can see people sharing love, and I don't feel that way. So I do see the polarity between who I was then and who I am now. And I still struggle with gauging people, which is why I just keep my circle very small. And I remember there was a time where I'm like, well, do I tell them? Do I not tell them, right? One thing that I've learned over the years in therapy is that when you're in a vulnerable, broken kind of state in this, and you vocalize things to people, it means so much to you. It is so big to you that by sharing that with that person, you have opened up a place within yourself of vulnerability, and you've let that person in. You've given that person your truth. But the problem is that not everybody's going to receive it the same way. So when you're an abuse survivor, we feel that different. And not everybody's been through abuse the way that we may have. They might not have been through the scenarios that we may have. So they don't always understand that. So what I remember a therapist of mine had told me, and I thought it was very beneficial, is you don't have to share it. You have to come from a place where, or you have to find a place, that's a better way to say it. You have to find a place within yourself that you don't value your traumas as part of you. That's not what makes you. Someone doesn't have to know that to know who you are. And at the time I'm like, well, you're crazy, because that's a big deal to me. And, I want someone who understands that then those are the people that I want around me, are the people who understand that and know how fragile I am, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're also elbow to elbow with other survivors. You're also elbow to elbow with people who are trying to heal. So keep mind of that. Keep mind of the fact that things will come your way to help you, but that everything has a timing, I know I've spoken about in other videos of mine, like this thing where I envision like rings, let's say, like the rings around Saturn. And I can be on one ring, and once I've learned more, I can now jump over to the other ring, right? So that ring will keep going around, and you can have family and friends on the other rings, right? And you'll see them, you'll have that moment where you're kind of like, oh, okay, hey, and then you get far, and then you're like, oh, okay, hey, right? It's like that, where you can still relate with people that you're kind of phasing out from, but as you evolve and you get further and further, you kind of distance yourself. So that's what I think is important to really kind of visualize, is that, like, just picture yourself on your own ring, and it doesn't mean that you're better than someone or anything like that. It's just you're on your own ring. You're living your own life. And I had a hard time understanding that coming out of my situation, was that I was entitled to have that own ring. You know, I can have my own ring. I don't have to worry about what someone else thinks about the ring that I'm circling. And that was a big deal, because once I was able to kind of really understand that, I grew a lot. So I want to mention that, because it's a big deal. Okay, I'm going to wrap this video up. I didn't want to make it too long, but thank you for watching, and I will, of course, keep posting things as they come along. And thank you for your support. Love you. Bye.